now the latest around the wide world of tropics. Tropical Weather Bulletin for June 25th. Day 176 of the year, June 25th, 2021. Champi is now a typhoon according to our own analysis. 34 storms have formed so far this year. Jumping over into the Atlantic on day 25 of hurricane season, we have 95L listed as a 50% chance of formation over in the next 5 days. Over in the Eastern Pacific on day 41 of hurricane season, 95E is at a 90% chance of formation within 5 days, and as of right now it is paralleling the Mexican coastline. Typhoon Champi is now a typhoon by our estimates. It is currently travelling northwards towards the Ogasawara island chain. Now, Champi is now a typhoon, bringing the total ratio so far to 6 tropical storms, 2 typhoons, and 1 major. Over in the North Indian, it is still fairly quiet for this part of the world. No invests are currently active as of this moment in time. Hopefully this continues for the foreseeable future. Jumping over to the satellite imagery for the North Atlantic, you can see 95L in the lower right of your screen with its 50% chance of formation in 5 days. Over in the Eastern Pacific satellite imagery, 95E continues to bubble and churn, paralleling the Mexican coastline, and as I mentioned before, it has a 90% chance of formation within 5 days. Over in the West Pacific, Typhoon Champi is making its way to the north, and it's currently eyeing the Ogasawara island chain. Over in the North Indian Ocean, there are no invests in this part of the world, and monsoonal activity is still ongoing. Jumping into the forecast for Typhoon Champi, it will continue to intensify. The JTWC, as of this cone, have it going up to 75 knots or 85 miles per hour. It will continue to move northwards before making a curve towards the northeast, narrowly missing Japan. Sea surface temperatures, the West Pacific is still incredibly warm. 30 plus degree temperatures are being registered to the east of the Philippines. The North Indian is cooling off due to monsoonal activity. The Atlantic is also getting pretty warm, but it's slowly making its way there. The Eastern Pacific is also slowly getting warm. The spot south of Mexico is still a cause for concern, and that is where 95E is currently right now. Sea surface temperatures anomalies. The Eastern Pacific is still largely below average. The Atlantic is also mostly above average, especially in the subtropic region. The West Pacific is also warmer than average, with some cool anomalies south of Japan. The North Indian, as of right now, is also mostly above average, except for the West Central Arabian Sea. I do also want to bring attention to the Northern Central Pacific, which is way above average for right now. On this day, on June 25th, 2010, Hurricane Celia was a Category 5, which weakened to a Category 3 on this day. Hurricane Darby also went from a Category 1 to a Category 3, and the Atlantic hurricane season in 2010 kicked off on this day with Tropical Depression 1L. Up next in the Atlantic storm naming list, we have Danny, followed by Elsa. Over in the Eastern Pacific, we have Enrique, followed by Felicia. And over in the Central Pacific, we are still waiting on Hone. Jumping into the West Pacific storm naming list on list 4, next up on the list is Infa, followed by Sempaka. And over in the North Indian, the storm named next up in the North Indian is Gulab, followed by Shaheen. Hopefully we don't see those names for quite some time. Jumping into the Southern Hemisphere in the Australian region, the next name on the list is Paddy, then followed by Ruby. And then if a storm manages to form within the next week and a half, the next name in the Southwest Indian will be Kanga. And finally, over in the Fiji region, the next name on the list is Cody. That's all from me for now. We'll have another tropical weather bulletin tomorrow night.